This week on Rovo Automotive, powder coating. All right, we're gonna jump right in. We got all these old nasty parts that came off of a car. We got to make them look like new. So they had a bunch of dirt, grime, and rust and paint. We're going to get all that removed off and get them recoated and make them looking like a brand new part. So we're going to start with this front cover for a small block Ford. We got to knock the seal out of it. So this part had been blasted already, but you can see where the seal had been. There's an area around that lip that needs to get cleaned up. So we're going to take care of that. She's going to put it in the blasting cabinet. Now the way this works is it's going to use high pressure air. It's going to pick up sand and it's going to shoot high pressure air and little bits of sand at the part. It's going to remove any rust, any paint or anything like that that's left over on the part and just leave us with nice, clean, fresh metal. So you can see she's got a foot pedal on the ground that she steps on, and that's going to control the airflow into the gun. It gets really dusty in there. It's kind of tough to see. She's going to point that gun at the part where she wants the sand to go, and it's going to remove all of that corrosion and dirt off the part. So you can see when she holds it up here right around that lip, it's all nice and fresh, ready for powder coating. So step one is we're going to hang the part on the oven rack. We got to use a wire hangers. So we're going to wire that onto the oven grate there. We're going to get our gun ready to go. So powder coating is going to use a very fine powder, and we're going to charge the powder with an electrical charge, and that's going to attract it to the part. So the first step in that is to get the powder into the gun itself. So we'll pour it from our bag into the powder coating cup. And like I said, we're going to charge the paint with a positive charge, and we're going to charge the part with a negative charge. So we're actually going to ground the part. And that box is what controls all of that. We don't really have to do much other than push a button. But we're going to use a very low air pressure. So about 10 pounds per square inch is going to come out of that gun. It's going to just kind of dust the part with powder, and we're going to let the static electricity take care of the rest. So you can see it's not very much air pressure. It's a lot different than painting. It's not like we're trying to get the paint in those nooks and crannies. We're actually just kind of introducing the powder next to the part, and we're letting science do the rest. So the positive charged powder particles are going to be instantly attracted to the negatively charged part. So you can see with the front cover there in the front, we've got the pedal box in the back with lots of nooks and crannies that would be very difficult to paint. With powder coating, we just introduce the powder kind of in that general area, and that powder is going to cling to that part inside those tight nooks and crannies. So it makes parts like that are going to be prime candidates for powder coating. Number one, because they're small enough to fit into our oven, and number two, we can powder coat them and get all of the nooks and crannies covered and protect that part from future corrosion. No rust, and it's also going to protect them from wear. So you might be wondering why not just paint the parts versus powder coating them, and the reason really is powder coating is going to provide a little bit tougher surface, or a little bit more of a protective surface for the part than paint will. Paint tends to just sit right up on top of the surface, and you might have some adhesion issues. So you might have an issue with the paint sticking to the part itself. Powder coating will actually be attracted to it, and you're going to bake it into the part. So it's a lot stronger, and it's got a lot better adhesion to the part. So it goes in the oven for 400 degrees for about 30 minutes, and it comes out. That powder gets baked in. It actually starts to melt and form into a nice solid coating on top. So there's our front cover, looking like a brand new front cover with a nice coating on it that's going to protect it for a long time to come. So you can see some of the other parts there. We're going to get a chance to take a look at the pedal box here and show us what the pedal box looks like from the start and what it looks like when it's finished. So it's a good system. It's nice. We can do lots of small parts, anything that'll fit in our standard oven. So here's our pedal box. Now this is actually what houses the brake pedal and the clutch pedal. This is uncoated from the factory, which means that there's no coating on it at all, no paint or anything to protect it from rusting. So you can see the part is pretty rusty. just from being up under the dash. So what we do is we have to completely disassemble it, put it in the blaster. So there's the case or the cage after it's been taken out of the blaster. You got the brake pedal that's taken out. We'll also do the clutch pedals, so we'll hang them on the grate and get those powder coated individually. So there are the brake pedal and the clutch rod all powder coated with a nice satin black powder coating, so they're protected from rust or contamination, anything like that in the future. So here's the assembled part all put back together. The brake and clutch pedals put in there, the clutch rod in there. So you can see it looks like a brand new part. We got everything coated and protected from any kind of rust. Here's a clip of the rear suspension components. So the one on the top, you can see is what it can look like coming off the car. The one on the bottom has been blasted. So it's been through the sandblaster and got all that dirt and debris off of there. There's the upper control arms that have been blasted. They're hanging on the grate, ready to go to the powder coating station. So they'll go in the oven and they'll come out with a nice red coating that's going to protect them and also gives them a really nice appearance and makes them look like a new part. Well, that about wraps up this week's video. Thanks for following along in the journey of how we take old nasty parts and make them look like new. Well, in the last video, I told you I'd explain a little bit more about what the Mustang was doing with it. So we got the Mustang back in late February, and we got it for one reason, and that's to provide the drivetrain for this. Now, this is a Factory 5 Mark IV kit car. And Factory 5 is one of the world's leading manufacturer of build-it-yourself component kit cars. So the version that we ordered, the Mark IV, is the latest version of their 1965 AC Cobra replica. And what we're going to do is take the engine, transmission, and rear end out of the Mustang, and we're going to transplant it into the kit and mix it with some of the parts that they provide for us. And we're going to build a car from the ground up. So when we're finished, we'll have a running, driving car that the students built from the ground up. So we're really excited about it. We're more excited that we're able to bring you along for the ride. You'll be able to see everything that we do with that car from the moment it's unloaded on the truck to the moment it rolls out of the shop under its own power. So it's something, like I said, we're really lucky to be able to do. We're excited about doing it. We're more excited to bring you along. So be sure to like and subscribe the video. Be sure to turn your notifications on so you can be sure not to miss any of the videos coming out that show what's going on at Rova Automotive. So thanks for watching this week's video, and always thanks for the support.